We are moving on to the next story, ladies and gentlemen. And again, the question is, what are they selling? So after Trump has made the announcement that he wants to end the war in Ukraine, and he's already had these peace talks with Vladimir Putin, it appears that everything started to line up as planned, except if you're Zelensky. Because Zelensky does not want to end the war. Surprise, surprise. Zelensky does not want to end the war. And it's not just him. You're also going to see that more Americans are not viewing this favorably anymore. More Americans are not feeling the same way about Ukraine as they were at the beginning of the war. I want to get into this segment here from CNN. This is interesting, guys. Check out these numbers.
Holy Toledo. Look at this trend line here. U.S. support for Ukraine is too much. Back when the war began, back in February of 2022, it was just 7%. Up like a rocket ship. My goodness. Up now in February of 2025 to 41%. And the clear majority of Republicans, and of course Republicans are in charge of the U.S. government now, 62% of Republicans say that the U.S. support for Ukraine is too much. What a difference from just 3 years ago. I can remember, John, all those backyards in the United States with those Ukrainian flags. Far fewer of them today, as Americans' opinions on Ukraine have changed dramatically.
What about opinion?
The flags came down, Harry. I don't see as many of those flags anymore either. People had the flags up, but once they started to learn more about I think the source of this war, once they started to see more and more money going out the door, more and more people started to slowly remove those flags. Because I notice I don't see them as much as I used to. It's really interesting. Harry reminds me of one of those people that, like, if you go to a party, like, you know how he starts it out, holy tamale, right? Harry reminds me of one of those people that if you got him drunk at a party, he'd probably be the one like doing like, I don't know, cartwheels and shit like at the party. You'll probably see him dancing on the table and shit saying, burn this mother down, man. He reminds me of one of the dudes that would go to a frat party and you get to see the real them, right? And every now and then a little bit of it comes out on CNN. But this is interesting. Yeah, so 7% in 2022, right? And 41% in 2025. So again, U.S. support for Ukraine is too much. People are tired of that money going out of the door. Yeah, life of the life of the party. Animal House. I know. Harry probably wakes up every morning and is like, I can't believe I have this job.
Opinions of the Ukrainian president.
Right. You know, obviously, if you would expect changes amongst the public on feelings towards Ukraine, feelings towards Zelensky have changed also dramatically. Look at this. Confident Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. Back in 2022, it was the clear majority, 72% through the floor. Through the floor by 2024, just 48% of Americans say that they're confident that Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. And GOP confidence has also plummeted dramatically. Now
to the floor. So everybody see what's changing here? You know what, Zelensky? People aren't feeling you anymore. People are tired of the fact that we've given you billions of dollars over these years. Can you guys believe it's been this long? Over these years, and it's pretty obvious. You have no chance in winning this, and you're just trying to drain money and resources from the United States. So people ain't really feeling you like that no more, boo.
Now the clear majority of Republicans are not confident that Zelensky will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. Really a real trend line, ones you rarely see in the American public when it comes to Ukraine and Zelensky. Confidence in both going down through the ground.
Look, some allies of President Trump have targeted Zelensky with harsh criticism over the last few years, and it could be that that's having some impact here.
Absolutely. The Republican establishment, the Republican electorate has moved as the Republican establishment and Republican leaders have moved on.
All right, let's talk about the idea of a peace deal. And again, the way you ask this matters, but go ahead.
The way you ask it is important, so we can talk about this a little bit. So the poll question essentially is, do you support a Russia-Ukraine negotiated peace deal? The vast majority of Americans, this is what they want. 78% say that they support this idea.
So when those of us were protesting for peace, we might have been 2 years ahead of the majority, but you see, eventually the majority follows, right? 78% support peace. And it was just 2 years ago that we were marching for peace. And we were called Putin puppets. Like, I was called every type of name in the book. And I'm like, why would you want people to die? Like, why would you? Why? Because CNN told you to? Because Fox News told you to? That's why? But eventually people caught up, right? So it's like what Roger Meadows, friend of the show, says, people don't always move at the pace that we want them to move, right? But eventually people see.
This is just 16% opposed. Of course, as we were talking about, does this question actually get at what's going on right now? I think you would say that it probably does not necessarily get what's going on right now.
No, the question asked, do you support a Russia-Ukraine negotiated peace deal? Ukraine's not there at the negotiations in Saudi Arabia this week, so the people were not asked this. And I do.
Does everybody see the propaganda that he just did there? That was his way to tell the American people, they're not there, you guys. You fell for the okie doke. How dare you answer this question this way on this poll? Ukraine's not there. Da 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 da. That's okay. You're going to get a chance to hear from Zelensky, and you'll understand exactly how he feels on this issue. It is very clear to me that there is one side, or two sides now, too, that do want some type of peace negotiation, and there's one that does not.
I think, in general, if you ask anyone in any poll, do you support peace? Peace tends to rate pretty highly.
Peace tends to win. You rarely get 78% of the country agreeing on anything. They do agree on the idea of a negotiated peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. Whether the majority would agree on a Russia peace deal with Ukraine where Ukraine has nothing to do with it, that might be a different question.
Hard to know.
So you guys see what's happening, right? That was that commentator there. That was his way of correcting you. For those of you who took those polls, how dare you say that? Da da da. Because they want war. That guy's a warmonger. You get what he was doing there? You know who else is a warmonger? Zelensky. He sat down with Meet the Press. I want you to hear what he has to say about any type of negotiation. And then I think you guys are finally going to see who is really keeping this war going. Let's dive in.
Gathered at the Munich Security Conference this weekend, where tensions mounted over mixed messaging from the president and his top officials.
You've suggested several things that Ukraine should give up. The idea of NATO membership, territory that was seized back in 2014 by Russia. What should Russia give up?
Russia has gotten themselves into something that I think they would.
NATO allies were reportedly blindsided by news of President.
Pause here for a second. When he says, what should Russia give up? It was NATO that encroached upon Russia's borders. Why are you asking Russia to give up something it's supposed to have in the first damn place? So if I were Donald Trump, I would have told him, you need to reframe your question.
Trump's call with Vladimir Putin, and frustrated that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth appeared to make concessions to Russia.
The United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement.
Hegseth, after a backlash, then saying everything is on the table. European leaders worry President Trump is giving leverage to Putin even before peace talks begin. And
listen to this, Hegseth, that was not good. When Hegseth said there, oh yeah, there's no Ukraine, you're lost here. There's going to be peace negotiation. Then he flipped that after he got criticized and said everything's on the table. He should have never done that. because that is not what Donald Trump was saying. That is not what JD Vance was saying. So he should not have done that. Now, JD Vance made his way to Europe, and he had some things to say about this war as well. It's crazy how people want war to continue.
And signaling a desire to retreat from Europe. These comments by Vice President Vance at the Munich Security Conference setting off alarm bells.
The threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values.
I sat down exclusively in Munich with Ukrainian President Zelensky. If the U.S. stops military for being here.
Pause for a second. I don't know why it skips like that. But the point that I was going to mention is that if you guys didn't see this, JD Vance in Europe was basically saying, like, no, we need to move away from anything heading towards World War III, that type of thing. And European leaders were angry. They're angry that JD Vance is saying, no, we need to end this war in Ukraine. Like, this is unhinged. This is insane. It's just crazy. I didn't vote for Trump. I don't support Trump. I didn't vote for Kamala. I didn't support Kamala. I voted for Jill Stein. And one of those reasons is the anti-war issue. That was one of them. There are many others. But the reality is, these guys that were at this conference were melting down because JD Vance says we need to not have World War III. They were bothered by this. Like, what is wrong with people? They want war. And this propaganda that has been spreaded over and over again, that Russia is going to invade Poland and go into other parts of Europe. Don't you guys think that if Russia wanted to do that, they would have done that by now? It's all propaganda. But they all want war. They want war because the military industrial complex needs it. It's just insane. It's just absolutely insane. Let's get into this craziness.
Here, it is an honor to have you. Ukraine is approaching the 3rd anniversary of Russia's invasion into your country. Let me ask you about something that President Trump said this week. He did not say yes when he was asked if he sees Ukraine as an equal member in the peace process. He did say later that Ukraine would have a seat at the table. Have you been given any assurances that Ukraine will have an equal seat at the negotiating table?
So I will never accept any decisions between the United States and Russia about Ukraine. Never. And our people, never. And our adults and children and everybody. It can't be so. This is the war in Ukraine against us, and it's our human losses. And we are thankful for all the support, unity between USA, in USA, around Ukraine, support by partisan unity, bipartisan support. We're thankful for all of this, but there is no any leader in the world who can really make a deal with Putin without us, about us. Of course, the United States can have a lot of decisions, economical partnership and etc. We're not happy with it, but they can have with Russians, but not about this war without us.
So, first of all, the way that he is saying this, it's almost as if he really believes he has a choice. That's the part to me that's comical. The US government gave you billions of dollars. Some of it you lost track of, by the way. Billions of dollars for Ukraine to drag people off the street and throw them into vans and making them go and fight. We're talking about, again, if it's really about saving people's lives, how many people have died in Ukraine? The average person that they're grabbing as a soldier is in their 40s. Like, this is crazy. But he's talking as though like he really has a choice. Like, well, I'm going to make this kind of decision and da-da-da. Where are you going to get your money from? Because you need to stop coming here asking for a damn check. He wants the war to continue. Again, what are they trying to sell? Both of them are selling war. Both of them are selling war. Meet the Press is selling war. Zelensky is selling war. That's what they're selling. They want the Ukraine war to continue. This is insane. A hot mess.
And that's why, and I think that what we need very closely to work and quicker, I think we'll lose time now, quicker to work on the plan, common plan. So we're ready because United States is our, the biggest strategic partner. We are ready not only to share our plan, we're ready for common plan with the President Trump. And of course, we need support from EU. It's important. They are also big donators during this war, and we will be the members of future European Union. That's why we need the support of Europe. And this common plan we have to discuss with Russians, and we will. And at the table, it's very important to hear America, Europe, Ukraine, and Russia. Yes.
Can you accept any peace deal that is cut without Ukraine?
No.
And do you feel like you have a seat at the table right now?
I not only count on it, I'm sure that we have to be there, otherwise it's not acceptable. But if there is a decision without us and Putin will go out from all our land, we will be in NATO and Putin will be in the prison, so President Trump can do it without us.
Let me ask you about your phone call.
This is insane. Like it's laughable to me. Like it really is. It's just absurd.
With President Trump earlier this week, it came on the heels of his call with President Putin. Does Mr. Trump's direct communication with Vladimir Putin before speaking to you unnerve you?
No, we spoke about it, by the way, with President Trump. And I said that I know that we had already phone calls. Yes, both hours. It's okay that he phoned him. Of course, I wanted very much that Ukraine is in priority for Trump, and not Russia. And I hope that we are more important. Yes, we're not so big as Russia, but I think strategically Ukraine is more important for the United States because we are really partners, allies, and we share common values, and we are really from democratic worlds.
Do you feel like
partnership? I think that's where he might be a little bit confused. What do you mean we're partners? Like, you're getting money from us. The United States government is like well, people are like, oh, the US needs Ukraine. Do we? No, not really. The people who are spouting that type of rhetoric, it's because they want you to believe that the US needs Ukraine because they don't want Russia to continue to be dominant where they are. They don't want Russia to win because it sends a message, right? It sends a message across the world. They don't want Russia to win because it doesn't go with their agenda. Hey, who are they going to get you to fear next? If it's not Russia, then they're bouncing back and forth from Russia and China. They can't make up their mind. They pick one, they pick this one. They don't know. They go over here, they go over there. They can't make up their mind. But we don't need Ukraine. NATO needs Ukraine. Right? That's what part of this is about, right? Ukraine wanting to join NATO. And I want to remind everyone again that NATO was not supposed to expand closer to Russia after the fall of the Berlin Wall. So while everybody's pointing fingers at Russia for this, we got to talk about who was the aggressor. Just like I tell you who was the aggressor with Israel and Gaza, and I tell you Israel has been the aggressor and the occupier, you need to understand that NATO has been the aggressor here the entire time. They're always going after these countries that are doing for their people, right? They're going after a country like Russia where they don't have GMOs in their food. They actually have healthy fucking food. They're going after a country like Russia that has public transportation that actually freaking works and is clean and is neat. A lot of people didn't even know this until Tucker Carlson went there and made a video to show you what it really looks like and it's things like this, guys. They want all these countries like China and Russia that actually do for their people. These are the countries they really want to take down because it sends a bad message. Also, they have their own economy over there. It's doing pretty well as well. The sanctions against Russia are not really hurting Russia like that. But they want to take those countries down. They don't want that message to get out. People might start asking for things like, I don't know, healthcare.
You have President Trump's full support. Do you feel like he's valuing Ukraine as much as you say he may be Russia?
I became more pragmatic from the very beginning of this war and less sensitive to such things. And I believe and trust only in real steps. And I trust President Trump because he's the president of the United States, because your people voted for him, and I respect their choice, and I will work with the President Trump with trust, which I have to the United States.
Again, he doesn't have a choice. He's acting like he has a choice whether or not he wants to work with the president of the U.S. You don't have a choice. You have been grifting. We want to talk about grifters. Zelensky has been grifting from the United States for years. Biden's not here no more, boo. Biden's not here no more. So you're not just coming right back over here to come get another check. Whew.
But of course, I want to have real meeting, productive, without just words, with the concrete steps, and to hear us, to hear President Trump, to make common plan, and to share it with allies, then with Russians, and stop this war. I think we need it urgently.
Is it true that you told President Trump during that phone call that Putin is only pretending to want peace because he is afraid of Mr. Trump?
Yes. Yes, I said that he's a liar. And he said, I think that my feeling, he said, that he's ready for peace negotiations. And I said to him, no, he's a liar. He doesn't want any peace. But I think he's really a little bit scared about the President Trump. And I think the president has this chance and he's strong. And I think that really he can push Putin to peace negotiations. Yes, I think so. I think so he can. But don't trust him, don't trust Putin, don't trust just words about ceasefire. I said because I have very practical things, practical meeting with Putin in 2019, and we made a decision with all our signatures that we made a decision about ceasefire and exchange of prisoners. Yes. And I don't know how to, як сказати, але he destroyed all this, these decisions and etc. So we don't trust him.
Do you?
I just want to add this here. It's like he's saying don't trust Vladimir Putin. And this is not to say that Vladimir Putin is perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect leader at all. But it's also to say, motherfucker, we shouldn't trust you. We gave you billions and billions of dollars. I read an article that said I think it was like 70. I have to double check. 70 billion that we gave to Ukraine, they can't account for. They don't know what happened to it. Where'd it go? Did it go up Zelensky's nose? Where did it go? So you're talking about don't trust him. We shouldn't trust you. And you can't keep up with the money. The Pentagon can't pass a damn audit. Like, this is an absolute mess. An absolute mess. He's insane.
Think President Trump is negotiating in good faith?
I hope so. I hope so. Yes, I count on it. I count on it very much.
Based on what you're saying about President Putin, do you think he's negotiating in good faith once talks begin?
Who?
Putin.
Putin? That he really...
Is he capable of negotiating in good faith? Is Putin capable of negotiating in good faith?
No. No, it's not about good faith. No. Yes, you just can block his motivation to put him in such strong circumstances, when he can't begin the new reinvasion. But he wants. You will see. Everybody will see. He will try to begin something new.
It'll probably be Ukraine that doesn't attack and tries to blame it on Russia.
By the way, I said it today. I'm not sure that only about Ukraine we are speaking. He's thinking not only about Ukraine. For example, now we have, and we shared it with intelligence of our partners. Now we see how he's preparing to train 150,000 people, mostly on the territory of Belarus, to show it for the world that it's just training, that is usually he's doing the same usually, but it's not truth. From such point, he began the occupation 3 years ago. Full-scale war, he began from some symbolic trainings and etc. But really, так це було, як скажу українською, це було законспіровано.
It was really
проводив.
Now all of a sudden he can't speak English. So look, I ain't got time for this. So the thing is this man has taken a lot of money from the United States for a war that he knows his country cannot win, right? Escalating the possibility of World War III. All for what? For the chance for Ukraine to be a part of NATO, which should not happen. There was an agreement called the Minsk Accords. We remember after the fall of the Berlin Wall, NATO was never supposed to expand closer to Russia. That's how we get here. I don't know what's going to happen here. I sincerely hope this war does end because it's insane, it's crazy. And hopefully after this is over, Zelensky will be laughed out of Ukraine. And hopefully the Ukrainians will be able to pick their lives back up and try to put the pieces together. But I don't know. Like I said, a lot of people have died, folks. A lot of people have died for this guy's vanity project, for it to be a part of it, a part of NATO. To want to take on a big bear like Russia. It was absolutely insane. Insane. This was stupid. This was so freaking stupid. And I told people years ago, people were like, oh my God, Russia blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Russia blew up their bridge. Russia, da-da-da. I'm like, wait a minute, stop. We're supposed to believe that Russia blew up their own pipeline. We're supposed to believe that Russia blew up their own bridge. And everybody just believed without asking questions. Well, I am someone who remembers the Iraq War. And I remember all the lies that were told to us then. And ever since then, I have to question. And I sincerely hope more people are questioning this. And looking at that poll, it looks like more people are moving away from this, fam. So Zelensky, it sounds like your gravy train is ending. And once it comes to an end, this means that you might have to leave Ukraine. In fact, that would probably be best. So what were they selling? Zelensky and the host there for Meet the Press, I always forget her name, but the host for Meet the Press, they're selling war. Why is she sitting down with Zelensky, but she's not sitting down with Vladimir Putin? Why are they always sitting down with Zelensky, but they're not sitting down with the other side? So the only way you get the other side is if independent journalists cover it. You get that other side from people over there that are living there, like people like Fiorella Isabel, who's there, people like Tara Reid, you get that element from them. You get it from the gray zone. Even Tucker Carlson went over there to interview Vladimir Putin. So this is what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying to tell you what they're trying to sell to you is war. They want the war to continue. They don't want the war to end. If they wanted the war to end, they would also interview Vladimir Putin as well so that you can get both sides. But they're not doing that, and that is intentional. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.